Hi everyone, I am Jacqueline. For those of you that follow me on Facebook and Instagram, you clearly know that. You also know it is so rare for me to be posting a video, frankly for me to be on this side of the camera. I am much more comfortable behind the camera taking pictures of my adorable kiddos, but for me to be posting something is rare. And there is a reason for it, and I wanted to share it with you today, which is why I'm on here. I have been on a journey really the last year, but the last 3 months for my personal health and wellness. And I have found a program that I'm super excited about and wanted to share it with you. Before I do that, I want to tell you a little bit of the backstory and my own personal journey to health and wellness. And it's pretty easy to sum up because it was pretty non-existent. I grew up in a family where team sports were huge. My parents are very active. Most of my siblings and I played basketball and volleyball, softball, baseball, different sports all through growing up. And my mom was a really great cook. She prioritized family dinners. We were a meat and potatoes kind of family. We always had really well-balanced meals. And I just grew up kind of being able to eat what I want, play sports, be active. And it wasn't until I was an adult that all of that kind of started to shift. And that's what I want to share with you today. I can remember back to 7th grade, I had a very good friend of mine going through bulimia. And it was the first time in my life that I saw someone really struggle with disordered eating and body image and body shaming. And it's just a memory that I have because as I continued to grow into adulthood through college and into adulthood, there were a couple of people very near and dear to me who also suffered from disordered eating. And I think what that caused me to do is to resist with everything I had what society was telling us was important, being skinny and being thin. And because it was nothing that I ever went through personally, but I saw people really close to me that I loved deeply affected by it, I was like, I am gonna resist this with everything in me. But what that meant was, I'm gonna shut it all off. I'm gonna not go to a gym. I'm gonna, eat what I want. I'm gonna continue to just not gain knowledge, not learn anything. I am just resisting it because I want everyone to feel that they were created the way they were to be created, and that's good enough, It wasn't what was best for me in the season of life that I was in. I was 26 years old, had just had my first baby, and my body was going through changes that I was not prepared for. I didn't have the proper tools. I hadn't sought any knowledge or advice from people on how to go through a pregnancy in a healthier way. And through the next years, I just had babies, and we lost a few babies in there from miscarriage. We had 3 losses, and 2 of them were in second trimester. And so my body was just on this up and down roller coaster of having children and then nursing and then having more kids and getting pregnant again. And that was kind of the cycle. I also at this time decided to stay home. My husband and I made the decision for me to be a stay-at-home mom. And I left my corporate America job, and I was in the throes of raising these little tiny baby monsters. And I was knee deep in diapers, and I was going to mom's group, thank goodness for my mom's group friends. And I was just in the thick of it. And me, Jacqueline, my personal well-being and my personal health got way put to the back burner, as I think it does for a lot of people. We are trying to keep our heads afloat. We are trying to find the balance. We're trying to figure out who we are because our identity has changed a lot. We are no longer corporate America working woman and we are stay-at-home mom, or we are business owners, or whatever that looks like. It's a journey. Walking to the stadium, and my husband was ahead of me with our 2 older boys, and I was pushing my youngest in the stroller, and my husband said that he heard a slap and turned around with my 2 boys, and I was passed out on the sidewalk. And the stroller, kind of like a movie, the stroller continued to go, and he stopped the stroller trying to calm down my 2 little boys because mommy was passed out on the sidewalk. Through a series of tests after that event occurred, it was discovered that I have extra PVCs in my heart. I have extra beats, a lot of extra beats. And it was enough in that moment to do something to my body to make me pass out. And while I was sitting at the cardiologist's office, I asked him, what does this mean for me long term? And he said, well, if you're not experiencing any symptoms now, if you don't notice, you're fine for now. But as you age and your heart has to work harder to just perform daily functions, you may have to get on medication or you may have to do something. And I left that cardiology appointment and I was like, I need to figure out how to make my heart strong, how to make this muscle in my body that supplies blood to my body to pump effectively and efficiently. Now, knowing that my body is going to do what it's going to do with my PVCs, but also feeling like I can do some of this by making my heart strong. What does it mean to live a little bit healthier? And that started for me with nutrition, and it started for me with, honestly, quick fix diets is the best way I can describe it. I did a program called the 17-day diet. For 17 days, you kind of phase food in and out. I've done Whole30 before. I've done some paleo options. I've tried a lot of different things: low carb, high protein, low carb, high fat. A lot of different what I consider to be quick fixes that weren't sustainable for me. And about 2 years ago, I had a really good girlfriend who has always been an inspiration to me because she has had a good, healthy balance of I'm gonna run and I'm gonna exercise and I'm gonna do things for me that make me feel my best self, but I'm gonna do it well. And she was always someone that I was like, that's so great that you do that. That's just not me. I'm not a runner. I'm not a person who works out. Again, I grew up doing team sports, so I literally didn't know how to personally work out or what that even looked like. Like, could I go in my backyard and shoot a couple layups and that counts as a workout, or what do I need to be doing here? And I tried running and it just wasn't my thing. I didn't enjoy it. So I was kind of trying to figure out at this phase in my life, because I had some breathing room after having kids, how do I get my body to a place where I'm comfortable, but how do I also just feel better inside? My girlfriend said, why don't you do this online program with me? We can work out together. And I was like, ugh, I don't know. She's like, let's just try it. And that was a year ago in August. So for the last year, I have ever in my life worked out the most consistently. That just means showing up for these half-hour little workouts. And there were so many times where she was the only reason I got out of bed. I'm a morning person, so it's not hard for me to get out of the bed, but I would rather get a cup of coffee, spend time with the Lord, have quiet time in the morning, than get up and go work out. And I'm finding that balance. So there were lots of mornings where I was like, I just want to turn on the fireplace and sit with my Bible and sit with my coffee and do that. Instead, I was like, she's going to work out. I need to go work out. And slowly, you guys, over time, I started to really love the way I was feeling. I started to love that I was feeling strong. Not skinny, I was feeling strong. And I started to kind of love getting up to work out, which I never thought I would say. And here I am at 37, seeing it. Anyway, I really started to love that piece, but what I still hadn't found was nutrition. And how do I put things in my body that fuel me in the best way possible within moderation. I still wanted to be the mom who would go out and have ice cream with my kids and go and have burgers and go to a nice pasta place with my husband and not worry about it. But those other times in between, I wanted to figure out how to fuel my body properly. And that leads me to today and now. And 3.5 months ago, I was talking to a lady that I know who is really passionate about fitness, and she mentioned intermittent fasting, and I'd never heard of it before. So I started looking it up, and I stumbled upon this program called the Faster Way to Fat Loss. I talked to a coach. She and I went back and forth a bunch of times. I didn't really want to make the commitment, but I did. And it was the best decision I've ever made in terms of my health and fitness, you guys. I love the program. I'm excited to share it with you. What it basically is intermittent fasting and carb cycling. So there are days where you're lower carb and there's days where you're higher carbs. And that to me was the biggest piece that I was missing, because anything else that I had tried in the past was always focused on low carb, which is good to an extent, but there's pros and cons to any program. And what I found was depleting my body of carbs. I found I was a lot more tired. I didn't have as much energy. And you guys, now with this program, I'm eating like 50% of my caloric intake in a day is carbs for the majority of the week. I just found this balance paired with these awesome workouts that the Faster Way to Fat Loss has. And I fell like crazy in love with the program. The reason I started to notice that I was enjoying it so much was my husband and my nearest and dearest friend was like, I've never seen you like this before. And my husband was like, you have so much more energy and you are just seem like balanced. And I was like, I totally feel more balanced. So it has been a game changer for me. So much, in fact, that I have decided to go through the certification program to become a health and wellness coach for the Faster Way to Fat Loss. And I'm super excited about it. And you guys, for someone who the first 35 years of my life resisted anything to do with any sort of working out or fueling your body properly, it's a big deal for me. And that's why I wanted to come on here and share it with you. I will be taking women, men, whatever clients decide to show up for the program through a program similar to what I've just completed. And then we'll give you the tools to maintain this as a lifestyle. It's not a quick fix diet. It's wholesome food. It's a whole body nutrition paired with awesome workouts. So I wanted to get on here and share it with you. I will be launching my first class in January and would love it if some of you were interested and wanted to learn more. If you are, please reach out to me. It is a program I've never seen before. It's something I'm super excited about, and I would love for you to join me on the journey. Thanks so much for listening. Bye-bye.